Welcome back to another edition of the Sabre Spotlight on the Marian Sports Network. And we're going to talk Marian women's and men's tennis here with head coach Brian Ottman. Coach Ottman, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Hey, we're kind of in between seasons right now, but before we talk about the men's season this spring and the women, which are going to get back at it here not too long either, but let's look back at the fall and just kind of talk about the women's tennis season and how that fall season went.
Yeah, we started out very strong. In conference, we were about 5-2 going in through the first couple of weeks. Our doubles was strong. We kind of made some switches throughout the year. So, I mean, that I was probably kind of to blame at the end of the year. We didn't really get the consistency in doubles that we've had the last few years because I was switching lineups a little bit. But, man, do we have some strong singles players. We really wrapped up the season well.
You have some all-conference type of players on the Marian women's tennis team, don't you?
Yep. We had two all-conference players. Meg Hartzell was our number 1 singles player, and then Emma Lewandowski was also all-conference. She was number 2 singles this year.
So the women's season is one of those where it transitions from the fall. Now you'll have meets again in the spring here coming up. I think at the end of March you have one set at the conference meet?
Yep. We have really, it's kind of a different conference. I swear it's probably about the only conference in America that does this. We play our conference season in the fall, and then we have our conference tournament the week before the NCAA tournament in the spring. So we'll usually try and get a match or two before then, and then we'll be hosting MSOE this year.
So what do you do between the fall season coming to an end and then getting ready for the spring season with the women's tennis team?
Pretty much we'll start up probably in a few weeks, trying to just get out and hit a couple times a week. We don't go anything too strenuous like we do in the fall where it's 4 or 5 nights, possibly a practice. And then it's just kind of get them back in the feel, get their feet under them, remembering how to hit a ball, because a lot of them don't always have indoor courts around there when they're back home. Some do, so they're not able to hit and play as much.
Before we transition to the men's season, Brian, it's your first season as kind of the full-time head coach of both the men's and the women's program. How has that transition been for you?
It's really been neat. And this year, it's been a challenge. I mean, I work full-time outside of Marian too, but it's been a fun challenge. I've always wanted to coach growing up, and so now I'm just kind of living out my dream.
Can you talk about your background when it comes to tennis? Because you played here at Marian, and just kind of talk about your tennis background and what got you into it and things like that.
Yeah, I started in high school, at Toma High School on the west side of the state of Wisconsin, and then it was kind of just almost pure luck that I ended up playing at Marian. My coach my senior year also played at Marian, and he played under Coach Peltonen and got me in touch with Peltonen, and was able to set up a meeting and found out that I was good enough to play in college. I didn't think, played a little doubles my junior year in high school and then 1 singles my senior year, and ended up coming. I played like 2-3 singles most of my college years, and then kind of switched between 1, 2, and 3 doubles.
Now, the men's season getting going for the spring, Brian, can you talk about what's happening on March 8th, the season is going. Just talk about in general what your men's team, what the outlook looks like for the men's team this year.
Yeah, we look pretty strong this year. We got a couple new guys, some that are newer to the game and others that have played pretty much their whole high school career. We got some strong leaders. Our 1 and 2 singles are both seniors. So they're going to lean on them a lot. They're our strongest doubles team. Kind of nice part about our men's team is a lot of them are multi-sport athletes here. So we have a couple hockey players, a couple volleyball. So we're a very athletic team. I think that our team would just take about any team down in the weight room.
Is that one of those things where it's an advantage because knowing that they're cardio-wise, you're going to get guys starting the season as much as they work in the off season. If they weren't playing a sport in the winter, but they're going to be in shape when they come out and they get ready for the tennis team.
Yeah, I think it's great because especially because their seasons are usually in the winter. So like the hockey guys, they're coming straight out of hockey, coming out of the postseason. Volleyball, their actually our seasons overlap, and sometimes we actually are able to have them play both depending upon each other's schedule.
In the perfect world, Brian, what would be the ideal number for the roster every year for both the men and the women? In your perfect world, how many student athletes would you like to have on the men's and women's teams?
Perfect world, about 10 to 15. It'd be nice to have that many. That way, if I want to play just some people at doubles, some people at singles, if they're stronger at that point, you need at least 6. You can play both singles and doubles, but if I could get people that have a strong in one or the other, I think it would just make us a stronger overall team. And then, injuries happen, sicknesses, so it'd be nice to have some reserves. That's kind of one thing that we're lacking right now is the depth.
So when you're pitching a potential student athlete about coming to Marian to take part in tennis and play on the tennis team, whether the men's or the women's, what do you tell them? What's your sell on Marian University?
The people. It's really kind of, like a close-knit family. We have a great camaraderie on our team, and so that's my biggest selling point. I usually try and bring at least 1 or 2 athletes in with them to meet when they come on a tour, just to kind of get to know the guys or ladies, to, just show them, what we're looking for.
Talking with Brian Ottman, the Marian men's and women's tennis coach here on the Marian Sports Network, a Sabre Spotlight. You have the NAC season coming up. You have Lawrence coming up on the 8th, but what's your take on the NAC in general?
Well, it's kind of different this year. We had a very strong team in Illinois Tech. They're actually picked to finish 2nd, so that's kind of different for a new team. But we should be pretty strong and hopefully going to qualify for the conference tournament. Last couple of years, we've missed it by about 1 match. Usually has come down to the match with WLC the last couple of years. Last year, I believe we lost 5-4. It was 5-4 or 6-3, and that would have qualified.
So what are some of the little things that need to happen for you to punch back through and get back into that NAC tournament?
We need to come out strong. I think one thing, getting doubles, you only play a 1 set up to 8. And each one counts as a point. So getting a lead in doubles 2-1, 3-0 is very crucial. Then you're not trying to win all 5 out of 6 singles, which is very tough to do.
And we're in Wisconsin, so March 8th and through the first month of the season, you have a lot of indoor facilities to be able to get things going.
Yeah, we'll practice up at Oshkosh YMCA Tennis Center on the north side of Oshkosh. Our first match on the 8th will actually be at there. Lawrence is hosting, but we're meeting in the center, and then we'll be heading up to St. Norbert's. They got a couple of tennis centers up in Green Bay. So
we're gonna melt some of the snow. April 6th, you're supposed to have a couple of matches with Dominican and CUC here in Fond du Lac.
Yeah, I might have to take a blowtorch to the courts or something to get all this, make sure the snow's off, because there is a chance if it's like 50 degrees, they'd like us to play outside. So, hopefully the snow is gone by then.
Let people know where you play when you're in Fond du Lac.
We play most of our matches at Buttermilk Creek Park on Park Street. So.
Brian, if there's a potential Sabre tennis player watching right now, a student athlete that's interested in Marian, how do they get in contact with you, and what do they need to do to inquire?
Yeah, we have an online questionnaire that they can fill out, and then if they want to email me, it's just bjatman79@marianuniversity.edu.
The best way to find that email address as well is to go to sabreathletics.com and just click the tennis.
Yes.
Marian men's and women's tennis coach Brian Ottman, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You've been watching a Sabre Spotlight on the Marian Sports Network.